Captain Li Huiyan floated in the zero-gravity command center of the Wanderer's Edge, watching the stars through the main viewport. His ship was far from Earth, almost at the edge of the solar system. For 3 months they had been scanning deep space, looking for alien signals and mapping new star systems. The Wanderer's Edge was Earth's most advanced reconnaissance ship. It was built for long missions in deep space, with the best sensors and communication equipment humans had ever made. Li Huiyan had commanded the ship for 2 years, and he loved the quiet peace of deep space exploration. "Captain," called Park Mina from her station. She was the ship's communications officer, a young woman with sharp eyes and quick fingers. "I'm picking up something strange." Li Huiyan pushed off from the viewport and floated over to her station. "What kind of strange?" "It's an alien transmission, but it's not coming from any known source. The signal is heavily encrypted, and it's using a frequency the aliens have never used to talk to us." Park Mina's fingers danced over her control panel, adjusting the signal. "Strength, sir. I think they don't know we can hear this." Li Huiyan felt his stomach tighten. In the 5 years since first contact with alien civilizations, humans had learned to be careful. The aliens were polite but distant. They shared some technology and traded with Earth, but they always seemed to be watching and judging. "Can you break the encryption?" he asked. "I'm trying, sir. The code is complex, but I think I can crack it. Give me 20 minutes. Li Huiyan nodded and returned to his command chair. He pressed a button on his armrest. "All stations, this is the captain. We may have intercepted an important alien transmission. Maintain radio silence and stay alert." 25 minutes later, Park Mina's face went pale. "Captain, you need to hear this." Li Huiyan floated over to her station and put on the headset. The alien voices were translated by the ship's computer into clear English. What he heard made his blood run cold. "The vote is complete," said a deep mechanical voice. "All council members have agreed. The human species will be quarantined to their home system." "Excellent," replied another voice, this one high and musical. "The Earth creatures have become too dangerous to ignore. Their military advancement is concerning. Their creativity and warfare is unlike anything we have seen," added a third voice. "In just 5 years, they have improved their weapons by 300%. If we allow them to continue, they will become a threat to the entire galaxy." Li Huiyan gripped the headset tighter. The aliens were talking about Earth like it was a disease that needed to be contained. "When will the blockade begin?" asked the first voice. "The fleet will arrive at the Sol system in 72 hours, replied the second voice. "We will establish a complete barrier around their star system. No human ship will be allowed to leave. No alien ship will be allowed to enter." "What about the humans currently in space?" asked the third voice. "They will be allowed to return home one final time. After that, the quarantine will be permanent." Li Huiyan removed the headset, his hands shaking. He looked at Park Mina, who had been listening to the entire conversation. Her face was white with shock. "Captain," she whispered, "they're going to trap us forever." Li Huiyan closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened them, his face was hard and determined. "Record everything. Make multiple copies. We need to get this information to Earth immediately." "Sir, should we try to intercept more transmissions?" "No, we've heard enough. Plot a course for Earth. Maximum speed." The Wanderer's Edge turned toward home, its engines burning bright in the darkness of space. As they flew toward Earth, Li Huiyan thought about what the aliens had said. They were afraid of human creativity and military advancement. They thought humans were too dangerous to be allowed freedom in the galaxy. 18 hours later, the ship arrived at Earth. Li Huiyan immediately sent the recorded transmission to Admiral Kim Taiho, the highest-ranking military officer on the planet. Within an hour, Li Huiyan received orders to dock at the military space station above Earth. Admiral Kim Taiho was waiting for him in the station's secure briefing room. The admiral was a tall man with gray hair and serious eyes. He had fought in Earth's last war, and was known for his quick thinking and bold decisions. "Captain Li," the admiral said as they shook hands, "this transmission you intercepted, are you certain it's real?" "Yes, sir. My communications officer verified the source. It came from the Galactic Council's secure network." Admiral Kim nodded slowly. "I've already briefed President Choi Yuna. She's calling an emergency meeting of the Global Defense Council. We need to understand exactly what we're facing." 2 hours later, Li Huiyan found himself in the most secure room on Earth, surrounded by the planet's most powerful leaders. President Choi Yuna sat at the head of the table, her face calm but her eyes showing deep concern. "Captain Li," she said, "please tell us exactly what you heard." Li Huiyan played the recording for the assembled leaders. When it finished, the room was silent for a long moment. Dr. Zhang Soman, Earth's lead expert on alien biology and psychology, spoke first. "This explains a lot about alien behavior toward us. They've always seemed nervous around humans, but I thought it was just cultural differences." "Why are they afraid of us?" asked President Choi. "According to the transmission, it's our creativity and rapid advancement." Dr. Zhang replied, "Most alien species develop technology very slowly, over thousands of years. Humans have advanced incredibly fast. In just 5 years since first contact, we've improved our technology by centuries. General Yoon Ji-ho, the head of Earth's military forces, leaned forward. How many ships are coming? The transmission didn't specify numbers. Lee Hoon answered, but they mentioned a complete blockade. That suggests a massive fleet. 72 hours. President Choi said quietly. That's not much time. Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood up. With respect, Madam President, we can't let them trap us. If we're isolated in our own solar system, we'll never be able to grow as a species. We'll be prisoners forever. What are you suggesting, Admiral? We have advantages they don't know about. We've been reverse engineering their technology for years. We have experimental faster-than-light drives that we've kept secret. Most importantly, we have something they lack, the ability to adapt quickly. Dr. Jang nodded. The aliens are afraid of our creativity for a reason. We think differently than they do. We solve problems in ways they can't predict. President Choi looked around the table at her advisors. Are you all suggesting we fight? Back, not fight. Admiral Kim said. Strike first. If we wait for them to establish the blockade, we'll be trapped forever. But if we act now, while they think we're ignorant of their plans, we might have a chance. The president was quiet for a long moment. Finally, she spoke. What would a first strike accomplish? It would send a message, General Yoon said. It would show the galaxy that humans won't go quietly into a cage, and it might inspire other species who are also afraid of the Council's control. Lee Hoon listened to the conversation with growing excitement. These leaders were talking about something incredible, a preemptive strike against the most powerful alliance in the galaxy. It was dangerous, probably suicidal, but it was also completely human. Instead of accepting defeat, they were planning to fight back. How long do we have to prepare? President Choi asked. 68 hours, Admiral Kim replied. But if we're going to do this, we need to start now. The president stood up. Then let's begin. Admiral, I want options on my desk in 6 hours. As the meeting ended, Lee Hae-an realized that his intercepted transmission had changed everything. In trying to secretly plan humanity's imprisonment, the aliens had given humans the one thing they needed most: advance warning. The next few days would determine whether humanity would be caged forever, or whether they would show the galaxy what humans could do when their freedom was threatened. 6 hours after the emergency meeting, Admiral Kim Tae-ho's team had worked without stopping. The main war room deep beneath Earth's military headquarters buzzed with activity. Dozens of officers moved between computer screens and holographic displays, analyzing data and planning what many believed was an impossible mission. General Yoon Ji-ho stood in front of a massive star map, pointing at 3 different locations marked in red. His uniform was wrinkled from hours of work, but his eyes were sharp and focused. These are our targets, he announced to the assembled group of Earth's top military leaders. If we're going to send a message to the galaxy, we need to hit them where it hurts most. President Choi Yoon studied the map carefully. Explain each target. General Yoon pointed to the first red mark. Kepler 442b. This planet houses the galaxy's main communication hub. Every message between alien worlds passes through their systems. If we disable it, we can disrupt communication across the entire galaxy. He moved his hand to the second target. Proxima Centauri say this is the Galactic Council's primary military command center. They coordinate all their fleet movements from here. Taking it out would blind their military operations. Finally, he pointed to the third location, Vega Prime. This is where the council meets and makes their decisions. It's the political heart of their government. Dr. Jang So-man raised her hand. General, these targets are heavily defended. How do we even reach them without being detected? That's where our secret weapon comes in, said Engineer Han Daeon, stepping forward. She was a small woman with oil-stained hands and tired eyes. For the past 3 years, she had been working on Earth's most classified project. Han activated a holographic display, showing a sleek spacecraft design. We call it the Quantum Jump Drive. We've been reverse engineering alien faster-than-light technology and improving it. Admiral Kim leaned forward. How much faster? Conventional alien FTL takes 6 days to reach. Kepler 44 to be from Earth. Our drive can do it in 18 hours. The room fell silent. Captain Lee Huyan, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. What's the catch? There's always a catch with experimental technology. Han's face grew serious. The failure rate in computer simulations is 60%. If the drive fails during a jump, the ship is torn apart at the atomic level. Even if it works, we can only make 3 jumps before the drive burns out. So, it's a one-way trip, President Choi said quietly. For most of the mission, yes. But if we succeed, we'll have access to alien technology at our target locations. We might be able to repair or replace the drives. General Yoon turned back to the star map. We'll need 3 separate strike teams. Each team will hit their targets simultaneously. If we coordinate the attacks perfectly, the aliens won't know which strike is the real threat until it's too late. Commander Oh Sung-min stepped forward. He was known throughout the fleet as Earth's best stealth pilot. I volunteer for the communication hub mission. My squadron specializes in infiltration. The military command center is the most dangerous target, Admiral Kim said. Who's willing to take that mission? Captain Beijuan raised her hand. She commanded Earth's newest assault carrier and had never lost a battle. My ship and crew can handle it, sir. President Choi looked surprised. Captain, that mission has the lowest survival chance. With respect, Madam President, someone has to do it. My crew is ready. What about Vega Prime? General Yoon asked. The council chambers are the most politically sensitive target. President Choi stood up slowly. I'll lead that mission myself. The room erupted in protests. Admiral Kim was the first to speak. Madam President, you can't risk yourself on such a dangerous mission. Yes, I can. This isn't just a military operation. It's a political statement. If I personally deliver our message to the Galactic Council, it will have maximum impact. Dr. Jang nodded thoughtfully. The President is right. The aliens respect bold leadership. If the leader of humanity appears in their council chambers, it will shock them more than any weapon. Engineer Han pulled up technical specifications on her display. We have enough quantum drives for the 3 missions, but they're untested on ships larger than a frigate. The President's diplomatic vessel and Captain Bei's assault carrier might be too big. Then we'll use smaller ships, President Choi decided. I'll take a diplomatic shuttle with minimal crew. Captain Bei shook her head. I'll use fast attack ships instead of my carrier. Smaller targets are harder to hit anyway. As the teams discussed technical details, Dr. Nam Hyok burst into the room. He was Earth's top intelligence analyst, and his face was pale with excitement. I've been analyzing the intercepted transmission, he announced. There's more data hidden in the signal, much more. Admiral Kim turned to him. What did you find? Dr. Nam activated a new display showing graphs and charts. The Galactic Council isn't just afraid of our military advancement. They have detailed projections about human development over the next 200 years. What kind of projections? President Choi asked. According to their calculations, humanity will surpass every alien species in technology within 50 years. Within 200 years, humans will be more advanced than all other galactic civilizations combined. The room fell silent again. Captain Lee Hyen was the first to speak. That's why they want to quarantine us. They're not just afraid of what we are now, they're terrified of what we'll become. General Yoon smiled grimly. Then we can't let them cage us. If we have that much potential, the galaxy needs to see it. Engineer Han looked at our quantum drive specifications. If the aliens are right about our potential, then maybe we can make this technology work. Humans are good at making impossible things possible. President Choi walked to the center of the room. How long do we have to prepare? Admiral Kim checked his watch. 58 hours until the alien blockade arrives. Then we launch in 48 hours. That gives us 10 hours to complete our missions and escape before their fleet arrives. Commander Oh looked at his mission folder. What exactly are we trying to accomplish? Destroying these targets won't stop the blockade. We're not just destroying targets, President Choi explained. We're sending a message to every species in the galaxy. We're showing them that humans won't accept being caged, and we're proving that the Galactic Council can be challenged. Dr. Jang added, more importantly, we're inspiring other species who might also be unhappy with Council control. If we can start a rebellion, the Council will be too busy fighting on multiple fronts to maintain a blockade around Earth. Engineer Han began distributing technical manuals to the strike team leaders. These contain everything you need to know about the quantum drives. Study them carefully. Your lives depend on understanding this technology. Captain Bei looked at the manual's thickness and whistled. This is a lot to learn in 2 days. Welcome to being human, Admiral Kim said with a slight smile. We learn fast or we die. Over the next 24 hours, the 3 strike teams prepared frantically. Commander Oh's stealth squadron practiced infiltration techniques using holographic simulations of the alien communication hub. Captain Bei's assault team studied the defenses around the military command center, looking for weaknesses they could exploit. President Choi's diplomatic team had the strangest preparation. Instead of weapons training, they practiced speeches and studied alien psychology. The president's bodyguard, Ko Wu, was the only team member carrying weapons, but even he was disguised as a diplomatic aide. Engineer Han worked around the clock installing quantum drives in the mission ships. Each installation was different, because the ships were different sizes and designs. She had to improvise solutions for problems that had never been tested. Dr. Nam continued analyzing alien intelligence, looking for any advantage the strike teams could use. He discovered that the aliens had routine communication schedules and shift changes that could be exploited. As the 48-hour deadline approached, the 3 strike teams gathered in the launch bay. Earth's most advanced ships sat ready, each equipped with an untested quantum drive that might tear them apart at the atomic level. President Choi addressed all 3 teams over the communications system. 40 years ago, humans first looked at the stars and wondered if we were alone. 5 years ago, we got our answer. Today, we show the galaxy what humanity is really capable of. She paused, looking at each team leader. We're not just fighting for Earth's freedom. We're fighting for the right of all species to grow and develop without fear. If we succeed, we'll change the galaxy forever. Admiral Kim gave the final countdown. All teams, Prepare for quantum jump in T-minus 60 seconds. The bay filled with the whine of charging drives. In 1 minute, 3 small human ships would attempt the impossible, striking the heart of galactic civilization before anyone knew they were coming. The future of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, depended on whether experimental human technology could succeed where alien science said it should fail. The quantum drives activated with a sound like thunder. 3 human ships disappeared from Earth's orbit in flashes of blue light, carrying their crews into the unknown depths of space. Commander Oh Sung-min felt his stomach twist as his stealth frigate Silent Runner emerged from the quantum jump near Kepler-4 for to be. The planet hung before them like a green jewel, surrounded by massive orbital stations that handled communication for half the galaxy. Jump successful, reported his navigator, Lieutenant Kwon Min-jae. All systems operational. We're 18 light minutes from the target. Uno studied the alien defenses through his ship's sensors. The communication hub was protected by a ring of Vaxari warships. The reptilian aliens were known for their careful, methodical approach to everything, including war. They're running standard patrol patterns, observed technical specialist SEO Yejin from her station. Very predictable. Good, Oh replied. Predictable enemies are easier to fool. Are our cargo ships ready? 3 months earlier, Earth had sent a cultural exchange package to the Vaxari homeworld. The aliens had requested examples of human art and music, wanting to study Earth's creative development. What they didn't know was that those cargo containers were still in the system, waiting to be processed. Sir, I've hacked into the cargo scheduling system, SEO reported. The Vax-3 are expecting 12 containers of Earth cultural artifacts to be delivered to the communication station today. Oh smiled. Perfect. Signaled the team. It's time to become art dealers. Lieutenant Kwon looked confused. Sir, how exactly are we going to hide inside cargo containers? We're not hiding in them, Oh explained. We're replacing them. The Silent Runner approached the cargo transfer point, its stealth systems making it nearly invisible. Oh's team had spent weeks studying Vax-3 procedures. The reptilian aliens were efficient, but not creative. They followed the same routines every day without change. Cargo transfer beginning, SEO announced. I'm uploading our virus to their communication array while they think we're delivering art. The virus was Dr. Nam's masterpiece, a program that would spread through the entire galactic communication network, broadcasting humanity's message to every inhabited world. But first, they had to get inside the station's computer systems. Upload at 60%, SEO reported. The Vaxtari still don't suspect anything. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the alien station. Oh cursed under his breath. What went wrong? It's not us, sir, Kwon said, checking his sensors. There's another quantum signature. Captain Bei's team just arrived at Proxima Centauri. Across the galaxy, Captain Bei Juon's assault ship Iron Fist materialized in the Proxima Centauri system. The military command center was a massive crystalline structure orbiting the red dwarf star, protected by energy shields that could deflect any known weapon. Gentari defenses are active, reported Sergeant Ru Dong-yoon from the weapon systems. Their shields are at full power. Bei studied the alien defenses. The crystalline Gentari were energy-based beings who relied heavily on advanced technology. Their shields could stop plasma weapons, particle beams, and even nuclear explosions. What they can't stop, Bei said with a grin, is something really, really simple. She turned to her tactical officer. Load the kinetic projectiles. Ma'am, those are just rocks, the officer protested. Rocks accelerated to 90% light speed, Bei corrected. Sometimes the oldest solutions are the best solutions. The Iron Fist fired a barrage of simple metal projectiles accelerated by magnetic rails to incredible speeds. The shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, were useless against solid matter moving at near-light velocity. The first projectile punched through the crystalline command center like a bullet through glass. Emergency lights flashed as the station's atmosphere began venting into space. Hull breach successful, reported infiltration specialist Im Chae-young. I'm boarding now. Chae-young's shuttle attached to the damaged section of the command center. Wearing a combat suit, she cut through the twisted metal and entered the alien facility. The crystalline Gentari moved like living jewels, their bodies reflecting the emergency lighting as they tried to contain the damage. I'm at the core computer systems, Chae-young reported through her radio, beginning data extraction. Meanwhile, on Vega Prime, President Choi Yuna's diplomatic shuttle, Peaceful Dawn, had arrived at the neutral world that housed the Galactic Council chambers. Unlike the other missions, this one relied on deception rather than force. Landing permission granted, announced the ship's pilot. They think we're here for emergency diplomatic talks. President Choi adjusted her formal diplomatic robes. Hidden beneath the elegant fabric, her bodyguard Ko Jinwoo had placed small explosive charges. If negotiations failed, they had a backup plan. Remember, she told her team, we're not here to negotiate, we're here to deliver a message. The council chambers were a magnificent domed building that could hold representatives from 1,000 different species. As President Choi entered, She saw dozens of aliens in their various forms, some gaseous, some crystalline, some that defied easy description. The ancient Primarch Zoltan, a being that looked like a walking tree made of metal, spoke first. Human leader, you arrive at an unfortunate time. We were just discussing your species' future. Perfect timing then. President Choi replied, because I'm here to discuss your future. The assembled aliens looked confused. Ko Jinwoo quietly moved to strategic positions around the chamber, his diplomatic robes hiding his true purpose. Back at Kepler 442b, Commander O's virus had finished uploading. Upload complete, SEO announced. The virus is spreading through their entire network. Excellent. Begin broadcasting sequence. Across the galaxy, every communication device suddenly activated with the same message. President Choi's face appeared on screens from Earth to the farthest alien colonies. Citizens of the galaxy, her recorded voice began. My name is Choi Yuna, President of Earth and representative of humanity. The Galactic Council has voted to imprison my species in our home system, claiming we are too dangerous to be allowed freedom. In the council chambers on Vega Prime, the real President Choi smiled as her recorded message played on the chamber's main screen. We reject this decision. The recording continued. Humanity will not be caged. More importantly, we believe other species deserve the same freedom. The message included technical specifications for faster-than-light travel, advanced energy systems, and other technologies the Council had kept secret for thousands of years. We hereby share these technologies freely with any species that desires independence, the recording announced. The age of Council control is ending. On Proxima Centauri, Im Chae-young had successfully copied the Military Command Center's database. Data extraction complete, she reported. I have their complete fleet deployment schedules and defensive plans. Outstanding, Captain Bay replied. Time to go. But as the human ships prepared to escape, something unexpected happened. Several Gentari vessels broke formation and approached the Iron Fist with their weapons powered down. They're not attacking, Sergeant Rue reported in surprise. They surrendering. The lead Gentari ship sent a message. Human vessels, we wish to join your rebellion against the Council. Your tactical innovation has impressed us. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. The virus broadcasting humanity's message was doing more than sharing technology, it was inspiring revolution. On 17 different worlds, independence movements began within hours of the broadcast. In the council chambers, Primarch Zoltan's metal branches rattled with anger. Human, you have doomed the galaxy to chaos. President Choi stood calmly. I've given the galaxy a choice, something you never did. Ko Jinwoo activated the hidden charges, but instead of destroying the building, they created a spectacular light show that could be seen from orbit. The message was clear. Humanity could have destroyed the Council, but chose mercy instead. The three human strike teams began their journey home, but they weren't traveling alone. Ships from a dozen different species had joined them. Abandoning their Council loyalties, Commander O watched the growing fleet on his sensors. Sir, Lieutenant Quan said with wonder, we didn't just complete our mission, we started a galactic revolution. O nodded, thinking about the implications. Humanity had set out to avoid being caged, but instead they had broken the cage that held the entire galaxy. The war for galactic freedom had begun, and humanity had fired the first shot, but now, they wouldn't be fighting alone. The virus spread faster than anyone had expected. Within 6 hours of the first broadcast, President Choi's message was playing on communication devices across 3,000 worlds. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. On the gas giant, colonies of the Etherian rings, the floating cities, suddenly erupted in celebration. For centuries, the Council had forced them to mine dangerous gases for alien technology they were never allowed to use. Now, with humanity's freely shared blueprints, they could build their own ships and escape their toxic homeworld. Leader Wisp, whose body was made of glowing mist, addressed his people through their bioelectric communication network. The small flesh beings from the third planet have given us something the Council never would hope. On the ocean world of Tidal Prime, the aquatic tidal lords received the human transmission through their underwater cities. These graceful beings had been forced to provide rare minerals to the Council for thousands of years, never receiving fair payment. High current blue wave, whose body rippled with bioluminescent patterns, called an emergency gathering of the deep. Council, the landwalkers called humans have shown us that the skydwellers can be challenged. Perhaps it is time we reclaimed our oceans. But the most surprising response came from worlds that had always been loyal to the Council. Even species that served as Council enforcers began questioning their orders. On Earth, Admiral Kim Tai-ho watched the reports flood in from across the galaxy. His command center was chaos. Every screen showed a different world declaring independence or rebellion against Council authority. Sir, reported intelligence officer on CON, we're tracking massive fleet movements. The Council is mobilizing everything they have. Kim studied the tactical displays. Red dots representing Council warships were converging from dozens of systems, all heading toward Earth. The numbers were staggering. How many ships? He asked. Our best estimate is 12,000 vessels from 47 different species. It's the largest military force in galactic history. Dr. Shin Woo-jun, Earth's top scientist, entered the command center carrying a data tablet. Admiral, I've been analyzing the alien responses to our technology sharing. The results are remarkable. Explain. Species that have been stagnant for millennia are suddenly making breakthrough discoveries. The Etherians have already improved our FTL drive design by 15%. The Tidal Lords have developed new energy systems we never thought possible. Kim nodded thoughtfully. And the Council forces? That's the interesting part. We're detecting increasing communication between Council ships and Rebel forces. Some entire fleets are defecting while in transit to Earth. An looked up from her station. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the returning strike teams. They're not alone. The main screen activated, showing Commander O's face from the bridge of the Silent Runner. Behind him, dozens of other ships were visible. Admiral, we're returning with some new friends. O reported. 17 Gentari vessels, 12 Etherian city ships, and forces from 6 other species have joined us. Captain Bay's voice came over the communication system. Sir, the aliens are sharing their tactical knowledge with us. We're learning combat techniques that took them centuries to develop. President Choi's shuttle was the last to check in. Admiral, the political situation is more complex than we expected. Some Council species want to negotiate, others want total war, and a few want to join humanity completely. Kim processed this information quickly. All teams return to Earth. Immediately. We need to prepare for the largest battle in galactic history. But Chief Strategist Lim Ji-hoon had been studying the overall situation. Admiral, I don't think this will be a traditional battle. The Council's authority is collapsing faster than they can respond. What do you mean? Look at the pattern. Every time a Council fleet approaches a rebel world, more ships defect. They're not just losing ships, they're losing entire species. On the Council homeworld of Vega Prime, emergency sessions were being held around the clock. The magnificent chamber that had once united the galaxy was now filled with angry arguments and accusations. Councillor Veltar, of the Hegemony, a massive insectoid creature, clicked his mandibles in fury. The humans must be destroyed completely. They have infected the galaxy with chaos. But High Mystic Senthera of the Energy Collective disagreed. Her form of pure light pulsed with different colors as she spoke. Perhaps the humans are correct. Perhaps we have held back progress for too long. The ancient Primarch Zoltan tried to maintain order, but even his authority was being questioned. The old ways kept peace for 10,000 years, he argued. Peace through oppression, replied a new voice. It was Navigator Quirin of the Star Wanderers, a species that had always remained neutral. The humans have shown us that cooperation works better than control. Meanwhile, Dr. Jang Soman on Earth was making a discovery that would change everything. She had been studying tissue samples from various alien species, looking for clues about their psychology and behavior. Admiral Kim, she called excitedly from her laboratory. You need to see this immediately. Kim arrived to find Jang surrounded by genetic analysis equipment and brain scan displays. What did you find, Doctor? I've been studying the brain chemistry of our new alien allies. The results are incredible. When aliens work closely with humans, their creativity levels increase by an average of 300%. What does that mean? It means humans don't just inspire other species politically, we inspire them biologically. Our pheromones, our brainwave patterns, even our social behavior triggers enhanced problem-solving abilities in other sapient species. Kim stared at the data. Are you saying humans make other species smarter? Not smarter exactly, but more innovative, more willing to try new approaches, more likely to question authority and think for themselves. This revelation reached the battlefield just as the first Council fleets arrived at the edge of the solar system. Fleet Admiral Song Taeyang commanded the human defense forces from his flagship Defiant Dawn, but he was no longer commanding just human ships. The mixed fleet was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Etherian city ships floated alongside human destroyers. Gentari crystal fighters moved in formation with Earth's angular interceptors. Tidal Lord bioships pulsed with bioluminescent war patterns as they took positions with human carriers. This is incredible, reported his tactical officer, Moon Sahi. The aliens are adapting to our combat doctrines in real time. They're learning human tactics faster than we can teach them. The Council fleet that emerged from hyperspace was massive but troubled. Even as they prepared for battle, more ships were breaking formation and joining the human alliance. Commander Beek, Jung-soo, leading a squadron of mixed human and alien fighters, received reports that entire Council battle groups were switching sides. Command, this is Squadron Leader Beek. The enemy fleet is falling apart before we even engage them. Admiral Song watched as the largest military force in galactic history began dissolving into chaos. Some ships attacked, others retreated, and many simply powered down their weapons and requested permission to join the human alliance. Sir Moon reported, we're receiving surrender requests from 47 different vessels, alliance requests from 12 more species, and battle challenges from only about 30% of the original force. The battle that was supposed to determine humanity's fate had become something entirely different, a choosing of sides between the old order and a new future. Dr. Zhang's discovery about human influence on alien psychology was being broadcast to both fleets. The revelation that humans naturally inspired innovation and independence in other species explained why the Council had been so afraid. They weren't just afraid of human military power, Song realized. They were afraid that we would wake up the entire galaxy. As more Council ships defected or withdrew, it became clear that the old galactic order was ending. The question was no longer whether humanity would be destroyed, but what would replace the Council's 10,000-year rule. President Choi, now safely back on Earth, addressed the mixed fleet. Today, we have proven that cooperation is stronger than control, that freedom is more powerful than fear. The galaxy will never be the same. She was right. In trying to cage humanity, the Galactic Council had accidentally triggered the end of their own civilization and the birth of something completely new. The Battle of Seoul lasted only 4 hours, but it changed the galaxy forever. What started as the largest military force in history, attacking Earth, became the largest surrender in galactic history. Fleet, Admiral Song Taeyong watched from his command bridge as the last Council holdouts powered down their weapons. The space around Earth was filled with thousands of ships from dozens of species, but instead of fighting, they were forming new alliances. Final count? Admiral, reported his tactical officer Moon Sahi, of the original 12,000 Council ships, 8,000 have joined our alliance, 3,000 have withdrawn to neutral space, and only 1,000 are still loyal to the old Council. Song nodded, but his expression remained serious. The easy part is over. Now we have to figure out how to govern a galaxy. On the bridge of the Gentari flagship Crystal Harmony, Commander Zephron was experiencing something his crystalline species had never felt before: hope for the future. The rigid hierarchy that had controlled his people for millennia was crumbling. Human Admiral Song, he transmitted, my people wish to learn your tactical innovations. In exchange, we offer our crystal technology for your ships. Similar conversations were happening across the mixed fleet. The Etherian city ships were sharing their gas giant mining techniques with human engineers. The Tidal Lords were teaching human biologists about their living ship technology. But not everyone was celebrating. On the Council homeworld of Vega Prime, the remaining loyalist forces were preparing for a final stand. Primarch Zoltan had declared martial law and was calling all remaining Council forces to defend the ancient capital. The humans have poisoned the galaxy with their chaos, he announced to his remaining followers. If we cannot restore order, then civilization itself will collapse. His words reached the ears of fanatic species like the Void Stalkers and the Iron Hegemony, who believed that hierarchy and control were the only ways to prevent galactic war. These species began gathering their forces for a counterattack. On Earth, President Choi was dealing with a problem no human leader had ever faced: how to organize a government that included hundreds of different species with completely different ways of thinking. Madam President, said Ambassador Kang Min-soo, we're receiving formal requests for alliance from 237 different worlds. They all want different things. What kind of different things? The Etherians want complete autonomy but shared technology. The Gentari want integrated military commands but separate political systems. The Tidal Lords want to remain in their oceans but participate in galactic trade. Cultural Exchange Director Yu Hon added, some species communicate through colors, others through chemical signals, and a few through quantum entanglement. We need translators for forms of communication we didn't even know existed. President Choi rubbed her temples. What about the former Council worlds? How are they handling independence? That single quotes s. Complicated, Kang replied. Some are doing well, but others are experiencing civil wars between progressive and conservative factions. 17 worlds have requested human peacekeeping forces. The challenges were immense, but humanity was adapting with their characteristic creativity. Dr. Park Subin, now head of the new Confederation Science Council, was coordinating the sharing of technologies between species. We're seeing incredible innovations, she reported to the Emergency Government Council. When you combine human adaptability with alien specialization, the results are amazing. Give me examples, President Choi requested. The Etherians took our FTL drive designs and created ships that can travel through gas giant atmospheres at light speed. The Gentari combined their crystal technology with our quantum computers to create processing systems 1,000 times more powerful than anything we've built. Trade Coordinator Wu Sang-hoon was equally excited about the economic possibilities. Madame President, we're seeing the largest economic boom in galactic history. Technologies that were restricted for thousands of years are now being freely shared and improved. But Security Chief No Kyungmin brought sobering news. We're also seeing increased terrorism from Council loyalists. The Void Stalkers destroyed 3 research stations last week, and the Iron Hegemony is threatening to attack any world that joins our confederation. How serious is the threat? President Choi asked. Serious enough that we need to prepare for another war. The hardcore Council loyalists would rather destroy the galaxy than see it change. Meanwhile, On the front lines of the Galactic Revolution, human officers were learning to command mixed-species fleets. Commander Baek Jung-soo found himself leading a squadron that included ships from 12 different species, each with their own combat traditions. Human commander, transmitted Captain Vorthak of the Tidal Lords. Our bioships can regenerate damage during battle. How do we coordinate this with your metal vessels? We adapt, Baek replied, using the word that was becoming humanity's motto. Your ships heal, ours are fast. We'll develop new tactics that use both advantages. The mixed squadrons were indeed developing revolutionary combat techniques. Gentari crystal ships could share sensor data instantly with human vessels. Etherian gas ships could hide entire fleets inside their city-sized hulls. Tidal Lord bioships could communicate through quantum entanglement, creating coordination systems the Council had never imagined. Dr. Jang So-man was studying these developments with growing excitement. The human influence on alien innovation is accelerating, she reported. Species that were technologically stagnant for millennia are now advancing at rates that match early human development. What's causing the acceleration? Asked Admiral Kim. Direct cooperation with humans seems to trigger dormant creative centers in alien brains. It's like we're a catalyst for intelligence evolution. This discovery was both thrilling and terrifying. If humans could accelerate alien development, what would the galaxy look like in 10 years? In 100 years? The answer began to emerge as the new Confederation took shape. President Choi, now elected as the first leader of the Confederation of Free Worlds, was overseeing the creation of a government unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. We're not replacing the council with another council, she announced to the assembled representatives. We're creating something new, a confederation where every species maintains their independence while working together for mutual benefit. Chief Diplomat Hung Gyan was working around the clock to mediate disputes between species that had been enemies for thousands of years. The challenge isn't the big conflicts, she explained. It's the small cultural misunderstandings that can escalate into major problems. Give me an example, President Choi requested. The Gentari consider direct eye contact to be a threat display. The Etherians consider avoiding eye contact to be dishonest. When they try to negotiate, both sides think the other is being hostile. But gradually, solutions emerged. Human diplomats, with their natural ability to inspire cooperation, became the mediators for interspecies conflicts. Human scientists became the coordinators for joint research projects. Human military officers became the trainers for integrated defense forces. The transformation wasn't without casualties. The final Council loyalists launched a desperate attack on the Confederation's new capital on Vega Prime, the former Council homeworld. The battle was fierce, with the Iron Hegemony's dreadnoughts facing off against mixed Confederation fleets. Commander Baek led the final assault on the Loyalist command ship. This is for every species that was held back by your fear of change. He transmitted as his mixed squadron overwhelmed the ancient vessel. The victory was decisive, but President Choi knew it was just the beginning. As she stood in the former Council chambers, now converted into the Confederation Assembly, she addressed representatives from over 300 species. 6 months ago, the Council voted to cage humanity, she said. Today, we vote to free the galaxy. The age of oppression is over. The age of cooperation has begun. The assembled aliens, crystalline, gaseous, aquatic, and forms that defied easy description responded with approval in dozens of different ways. Some flashed colors, others released chemical signals, and a few simply glowed brighter. But the real measure of success was what was happening across the galaxy. On worlds that had been stagnant for millennia, new cities were rising. Technologies that had been forbidden were being freely developed. Species that had never been allowed to explore space were building their first starships. The Council's greatest fear had come true. The galaxy was changing rapidly and unpredictably. But instead of the chaos they had predicted, the result was an explosion of creativity, cooperation, and progress that surpassed anything in galactic history. Humanity had set out to avoid being caged, but instead they had become the key that unlocked the potential of the entire galaxy. 2 years after the Battle of Seoul, the galaxy was unrecognizable. President Choi Yuna, now serving her second term as leader of the Confederation of Free Worlds, stood on the observation deck of the new capital station orbiting Earth. Through the transparent walls, she could see ships from hundreds of different species coming and going in peaceful trade. Madam President, said her aide, bringing her the daily reports. The morning briefings are ready, Choi smiled. The briefings had grown from a single page about Earth's activities to a massive document covering the affairs of over 500 member worlds. Managing such diversity was challenging, but the results were extraordinary. Ambassador Kong Min-soo entered with his usual stack of diplomatic requests. Good morning, Madam President. We have 12 new worlds requesting membership, 6 trade disputes to resolve, and 3 marriage proposals between different species that need legal framework. Marriage proposals between species. Choi raised an eyebrow. The Etherians and Gentari have discovered they can share consciousness through quantum entanglement. Some are calling it the ultimate form of love. The legal department is having headaches trying to figure out how to write marriage contracts for gaseous and crystalline beings. Cultural exchange director Yuhan joined them, looking exhausted but happy. The cultural integration programs are showing remarkable success. We now have mixed species research teams on 3,000 worlds. The innovation rates are unprecedented. Show me the numbers, Choi requested. Dachu activated a holographic display showing galactic development statistics. In the past 2 years, we've seen more technological advancement than in the previous 2,000 years under Council rule. The Etherians have developed atmospheric processors that can terraform dead worlds in months instead of centuries. The Tidal Lords have created biological computers that can process information at quantum speeds. Trade Coordinator Wu Seng-hoon added his report. Economic growth is explosive. Free trade between species has increased total galactic wealth by 800%. Worlds that were resource poor under Council restrictions are now discovering they have valuable resources for different species. But the success came with challenges. Security Chief No Kyung-min looked concerned as he delivered his briefing. We're still dealing with resistance from former Council loyalists. The Voidstalkers have formed a terrorist organization called the Order of Ancient Ways. They're targeting mixed species colonies and research facilities. How serious is the threat? Choi asked. Manageable but persistent. However, we have a bigger concern. Our deep space sensors have detected artificial signals from the Andromeda galaxy. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the implications. If there was another galactic civilization in Andromeda, how would they react to the rapid changes in the Milky Way? Dr. Park Subin, head of the Confederation Science Council, had been studying the signals. The transmissions are clearly artificial, but we can't decode them yet. They're using mathematical principles we don't understand. Could they be hostile? Choi asked. Unknown, but based on the power levels we're detecting, their technology is significantly more advanced than anything in our galaxy. Admiral Kim Taehu, now Supreme Commander of Confederation Defense Forces, added his military assessment. If they are hostile, we need to be prepared. But our mixed fleets are stronger than anything the old Council could have fielded. Human adaptability combined with alien diversity creates tactical advantages we're still discovering. As they discussed, the potential Andromeda threat, Captain Lee Hyun, now promoted to Admiral, entered with urgent news. Madame President, we've received a priority message from the edge of the galaxy. It's unusual. Unusual how? It's from a human exploration vessel, but they're not alone. They've made contact with something called the Watchers, apparently, an ancient species that has been observing our galaxy for millions of years. The message played on the main screen. Commander Park Dae-yoon, leading humanity's first extragalactic exploration mission, appeared with several ghostly figures beside him. Madam President, his recorded voice said, the Watchers are the oldest intelligence in our galaxy. They've been waiting for a species like us to emerge, one that could unite the galaxy instead of controlling it. One of the ghostly figures stepped forward. Its voice was like wind through cosmic dust. Greetings, children of the new age. We are the Watchers, and we have observed your species with great interest. You have accomplished in years what we hoped would take millennia. President Choi leaned forward. What do you mean? Your species possesses a rare quality, the ability to inspire evolution in others. Only a few species in the universe develop this trait. We have been waiting for you to mature so we could share knowledge of the greater cosmos. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just special within their own galaxy, they were rare in the entire universe. The Watcher continued. The signals you detected from Andromeda are from a species similar to yourselves, but they developed differently. Where you inspire cooperation, they inspire competition. Where you create unity, they create conflict. Are they a threat? Admiral Kim asked. Potentially. They are aware of the changes in your galaxy and are sending scouts to investigate. You must be prepared for contact, but more importantly, you must be prepared to show them a better way. Over the following months, the Confederation prepared for possible contact with the Andromeda civilization, but instead of preparing for war, they prepared for diplomacy. The mixed fleets practiced coordination exercises, not battle formations. Scientists worked on translation protocols, not weapons systems. The preparation revealed just how much the galaxy had changed. Species that had been enemies for millennia were now working together seamlessly. The Gentari crystal ships could share processing power with human vessels. Etherian city ships could hide entire diplomatic fleets within their gaseous hulls. Tidal Lord bioships could communicate instantaneously across galactic distances. Dr. Jung So-min, now head of interspecies psychology, made a remarkable discovery during the preparations. Human influence on alien evolution is accelerating beyond our original projections. Some species are developing new abilities they never had before. What kind of abilities? President Choi asked. The Etherians are developing solid-state consciousness. They can exist as gas or crystalline forms at will. The Gentari are growing organic components, becoming living crystal biohybrids. The Tidal Lords are learning to exist in space without water. They're evolving in real time. Exactly. Close cooperation with humans is triggering rapid evolutionary changes. We're not just inspiring technological advancement, we're inspiring biological advancement. The first contact with the Andromeda scouts came sooner than expected. 3 massive ships appeared at the edge of the galaxy, their design unlike anything in the Confederation database. Admiral Song Tai-Yung, commanding the first contact fleet, approached the alien vessels with a mixed force of human and allied ships. Andromeda vessels. This is Admiral Song of the Confederation of Free Worlds. We come in peace. The response was immediate and hostile. Confederation forces, you will surrender immediately or be destroyed. Your chaotic expansion threatens galactic stability. The Andromeda species, it turned out, believed in forced order just like the old council, but taken to extremes. They had conquered their entire galaxy by eliminating any species that showed independence or creativity.